Okay, Alari's here. We can begin. Um, hey everyone, it's another week, another community call. It's the 19th of January. Uh, this month is blowing by fast. We had a really exciting week. So a few things we'd like to talk about. Of course, you guys want to hear about a little bit about Chorus, what we announced yesterday, um, and of course how the V2.6 vote went. That was the other big thing that was happening this week. And we have a few questions from you guys in the submission form. So thanks for the questions. Um, without further ado, I guess we should start with the V2.6 vote. So what's the update? How are we looking, Brenda?
For the vote, we
Yeah.
passed with 12.38%. We'll be doing the update today and we'll be monitoring it, and we'll let you guys know once we see the switch go. So yeah, exciting times. Thank you for everybody that voted. The gas prices were really high. We really appreciate all the community involvement. I mean, you guys really have more voting power than the whole team. So thank you for everybody that voted.
Do we have what's our most recent estimate? Have we taken an estimate um, today yet?
Yeah,
About
I just did it. For the total votes, I think it was over 200K actual tributes, and for the percentage, it was 12% and 12.38%.
awesome. Yeah. No, I mean I think that these numbers I think stand up to or better than what you see in other similar governance protocols. So I'm proud. I think we're all proud that we got this thing passed. And it was not like a super sexy upgrade either. It wasn't like the last one. The last one we did was a little bit more. You know, it was the first one right after V2. This one was a small little fix. So I don't know. This is encouraging. I think that this protocol can upgrade and do small fixes, in a decentralized fashion. So good stuff. Um, Other updates before we talk about Chorus, because I know that's what you guys are all dying to hear. Anything on your end, Brenda, that's not Chorus or V2.6 related?
Nope.
I think those are the big things. Yeah. And I already talked about other things we're doing with ETH Denver. I don't need to repeat that. We're going to have some content coming out leading up to that we're excited about doing, but we haven't filmed it yet. So, all right. So let's talk about. So Chorus, yes, we surprised you guys. Well, we hinted at that there would be an announcement on either last Friday or Monday. I know you guys were dying to hear something on Friday, and you had to wait till Monday. So thanks for that. We're really curious to hear how you felt about, you know, your initial impressions of Chorus. So continue to ask questions in the chat and let us know how you feel. I'm sure it was a surprise, what it is being a community currency protocol. I think the general gist of the background of it is we've always had in our mind the idea of we might need to or might want to come up with some vertical products that use Tellor. We have a wide, we have two economists in our founding team, and we have a wide range of ideas. Our team is now getting bigger and broader, and there's a lot more ideas that are sort of that are being born every day. And so we want to take advantage of that. And we're builders, and we move fast. And this is the sort of the first thing that we sort of cooked up, and it's sort of like getting back to our roots of what are the foundational purposes of crypto? What are the foundational purposes of decentralization? There's been many conversation about the use case for Bitcoin moving from a peer-to-peer cash system to a store of value, digital gold kind of thing, and of course DeFi taking off and money Legos taking off, and it sort of occurred to us that we still haven't gotten back to the original use case of these currencies being used as a money, as a means of a peer-to-peer cash system. And so we thought we could maybe tackle like our take on a solution for it. And so that's kind of like how we started thinking about it. So yeah, so we came up with the Tellor community currency protocol that we branded to Chorus, and we were just released the white paper. And we'd like to give you like just a brief overview of what Chorus is. We don't want to go too in depth on this call because next week we want to do just a, how we do tech talks. Nick will do a more deep dive into some subject matter, and so I think we want to do one of those for Chorus. So that'll be, you're gonna have to wait a week for that. We're gonna do that next week, but we'll take your initial questions today. And Brenda, you want to just give like a little high level overview, or and anybody on the team can sort of chime in as well about
Yeah.
Chorus.
Yeah. So Chorus is a community currency that is basically designed to use rewards to support an issue or a cause that the community is passionate about or just wants to support. And it does so by using rewards similar to like how Bitcoin and Ethereum use it to provide security to its system. And it just allows anybody to be able to use inflationary rewards to be able to support a community cause. And that's basically the how it's supposed to work. It's an open source protocol that we want other people to use. And one of the cool things about it, or there's a few, but at least one of them is that you can collateralize it with anything that you want. It is different than a stable coin because it's actually designed to not stay stable. Because of the inflationary rewards, you're actually decreasing the value of it over time. But that's because the community believes in this greater good that they're going to be doing with those inflationary rewards, whether it's providing security to a system or agreeing to give those inflationary rewards to a nonprofit for, I don't know, cleaning up the environment or clean up some sort of oil spill in Africa, whatever the community decides to do with it. And so that it's different than, it's not that different than DAI because it also has a liquidation threshold and it doesn't allow it to go too far away from its initial value. The inflationary rewards are assigned by the creator when the token is created and collateralized. So it's not going to go that far away from the original intended value, but it will decrease as specified by the owner. Whereas DAI, they really try and stay, stable at a $1 to $1. So it's designed to be stable versus us, or the Chorus is actually designed to not be stable, but actually move towards whatever goal the initial creator, sets it as. So it can be a 10% inflation, a 20% inflation, and whatever the community ends up supporting, basically.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, like we wanted to come up with a way that you could create a currency that incentivizes people to spend it and not hold it, to use it, and also somehow create some sort of surplus that the community themselves could utilize for their own benefit. And some of the technical details, are still open problems that we're solving. And the product isn't launched yet. We've launched a white paper, the repo's open source. Now's the time where we will get feedback from you guys, get your input, and have it be, much more of a community engaged sort of project going forward. But we really wanted to get these ideas out to you guys and get your feedback. But yeah, we're really excited about where this might end up. Anybody have anything else to add to that before we jump to the questions?
One thing I would like to mention is that although it's like semi-stable, it's quite predictable. It's not like it's still pegged to the, it's when it starts, it's pegged to the USD dollar, for example, and then you know exactly how much you will get if you hold it for a year. So it's not like if you're holding it Ethereum or any other unstable coin, you don't know what's going to happen. It gives you, still gives you some security, and then at the same time, uh, it's incentivized that you don't hold it for a very long time.
So like if you had one note at the beginning of the year, you know that if you held on to it and didn't spend it at the end of the year, that note would be worth 90 cents
Exactly, yes.
if you set it to a 10% inflation.
Yeah.
And you would know, or you would buy into the currency because you believe in whatever cause it's actually going to be promoting. So even though
Or
you are
because
losing
you
some
want,
sort of,
or because you want to enter the community that only accepts those kind of coins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know that it's like everybody's taking little micro losses for the period of time that they're holding those notes, whatever that is. But they're all sharing in the collective benefit of where that ends up and how it's used. And that's up to the
It's more or
community.
less the same with the real money, right? You're
Yes.
holding $100 at the beginning of the year, and you can buy a TV, but at the end of the year, you can't buy a TV because it's worth more. The TV itself, it's the same sort of inflation.
Yeah.
right,
Cool.
except now anybody can do it, hopefully. And this is really exciting for us because it is our first vertical product. And I don't know if everybody here is familiar with our story, but we actually started as a derivatives protocol. And we only ended up in Tellor because we couldn't find an oracle that we thought was sufficiently decentralized and secure for us to be able to use and provide a fully decentralized product when we first started. So now that we have something that we actually believe is actually very secure and we believe in, we are now starting to branch out into all of these cool things that I think are going to be very useful to the community and that better align with our values and how we see that crypto and this whole ecosystem should be used. So we're super excited about it and we can't wait to see or to hear from you guys and your feedback and make it better, make it an open source system that people actually use. So please go through it. It's still very in its early stage, so we're super open to feedback. We want to make it better. We want to make sure that people use it.
Cool. So our biggest fan on these calls lately has been Zelantis, who's always showing up to these calls. So we appreciate you being here live. You have a couple questions for us. When will it be live? We don't have a date for that, but what is our impression in terms of time frame? Do we have any vague thing we can tell them?
When we are ready with the interface.
There you go. There you have it. You heard. Yeah.
So the contract is like 99% ready, but then we need to build a user interface, like the tooling around the whole project.
Yeah, and that's another question that somebody else had. I looked ahead at one of the submitted questions was about having a UI for this. That's the biggest piece of the puzzle. It's just a pivotal piece of the puzzle is that we need to have we need to have tools for people to come, like a Uniswap. Like you can come right there, you can issue you can collateralize and issue notes for your community by creating an anthem, which is your specific community currency you create is called an anthem. And then you issue your notes to your community. And we want to have a really nice front end for people to come do that really easily. And for people to also redeem them, etc. Just have like a central hub for anything Chorus related. And that's really important to have that done really well and really nice. And so, but we don't think it'll be, this year, it's still, this is something that I don't know. I don't want to give any dates, but it shouldn't be too long.
Yeah.
We'll open source it. We'll make it work, and we'll open to contributions to speed up the process.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Take up some of those issues, guys. and girls. I don't
Rossi,
know.
you should be, yeah, you're like a dev politician. I like this. See here, semi-stable. Why semi-stable? I believe Brenda answered that. This is because of the inflationary benefits that we want to allow the community to create. A target user base. So we've been brainstorming about potential target users. I think I don't have a specific list. I mean, I have a list of my sort of thoughts or the team's sort of thoughts on this, and then we're sort of compiling that list as we go. But I think we're really interested in just putting this idea out there and this capability out there to the world, and allow the creativity to occur from that, to see how people look at this and think to themselves, how could we use this? How can we use money in a brand new way? And so we're open to discovering, target users that we never even realized. But that's going to also come from talking to a lot of people and sharing course with people and asking them what they think. Is this something that interests you? How might this benefit your community? And getting that feedback from them. I think we have, the ambitious idea, and there's ambitious ideas. Crypto is one big ambitious idea. Bitcoin itself is one of the most ambitious ideas. It's all about real world use cases. And I think what we have fun talking about what this would be like in the real world setting, in your local town, in a small community, in a small club, in a school, where you allow these communities to issue their own money that is used to raise funds in their own way, So that's kind of where our head is sort of, off in the clouds about how amazing this could be in the real world. But I'm also interested to see how this would play in smaller crypto communities and online communities as well, in video games, places where there's a lot of commerce happening. There's a lot of, because you want to have a economy that is utilizing this currency, and people can buy and people can sell it and buy things with it. So that's kind of like a prerequisite for it. How will this technology compare to DAI? I think Brenda covered that. The amount of USDC increases over time, but is still stable. Why is Chorus different? I imagine USDC increases because they add more collateral.
Right.
Yeah, so we could do the same thing. People that create their own notes would be able to issue new notes if they add more collateral.
Yeah.
So what are our plans, Brenda, on derivative protocol?
I mean, there's a lot of not issues. Well, yeah, there's a lot of legal issues with derivatives entities, and I think in terms of verticals, I think it's a really good. I mean, that's how we started. Whether or not we'll go back to it immediately, I think it's going to take a little bit more time, just because of the legal issues with it in the United States. We would very likely have to do KYC AML, and that's exactly what we're trying to not circumvent in its own way, in a positive way.
Yeah.
So for us to be able to do that, I think it's going to be a little bit more time, maybe. But unless we can do it really well in a decentralized way and legal, because we live in the U.S., so we're going to be held to the laws of the U.S. And I think for now, we want to make sure that we grow the current product that we have in security, instead of, endangering it with, being classified as security. So I think for now, we're going to be moving into vertical products that support Tellor itself. And even like Chorus, we don't actually, maybe in the future, we might issue something with Chorus, but we actually want other people to be able to use Chorus, not just us running, this, just us creating tokens, collateralized tokens for something. Maybe in the future, yeah, we could do something even for the team, or we could do something that we really want to support as a community, but for now we just want to provide the tools so that people are able to use them and grow Tellor with them. Derivatives, they're a hard one for the US, I think. But if you guys agree, or if you guys, I think it'll take a while for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good response.
Let's start from the basics, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the Oracle thing, we were like, we had an idea that we really clearly were like, aha, we think this is a really small but important, it was a big problem, but like, it's much more, it's not as big and broad as derivatives. That we could, we could solve it, we could launch it in a short amount of time, and that's kind of our style. And so if something occurs to us in the derivatives market like that, is something we could really do a derivatives protocol the way we believe they should be done, then we would do it. Any thoughts on the lack of TRB market reaction?
I don't quite understand this one.
I think to the core, he might be asking to the chorus announcement. I think we didn't intend this to be a big splash necessarily, and I think that the market hasn't really heard about it yet. But again, our intention wasn't this to be like some big pump. This is just something we want to share to you guys. It's going to be growing over the next couple months and throughout this year.
Yeah.
In terms of what TRB holders can expect in terms of rewards from Chorus, when Justin Sun joined the team. Justin Sun's been on the team from the beginning, Lowry. He's just the silent guy in the background. We don't ever show his face. So if Chorus becomes popular, it stands to reason that TRB holders could benefit from it because it's a user of, just like any user of Tellor is a good thing for the TRB, use case and for our community in general. And so that's the reward. If you're holding TRB, you get the rewards of holding something that's being used for a good purpose like Chorus. And so, and that's our mission, is just to get TRB used. Let me go to the other forum. We got 10 more questions here. Will there be an easy to use UI on Chorus? Yes, that's our big goal with Chorus, is to have a really awesome user experience. It's really important for this to be for it to be really easy to use.
80% of my time in the next whatever time it takes.
Yes.
Thank you, Cassie.
Well, let me ask this one. So how does the team split effort on Chorus and Tellor? Looks like a daunting task for both. That was one question. So, Crossy?
I think I already answered 80%. I have written the contract. Took me a long time. I'm still delegating some things for Tellor. We need to continue the development for Tellor, which is responsible for submitting the values. So now that the team is bigger, I will work with Ben on the front end. We'll continue creating bounties. We'll close issues. We'll continue on Tellor, and in the same time. But yeah, I would say 80%. I will move all of my focus on Chorus. So I would say, like I said, 80%.
And one of our hires, Ben, our most recent hire, one of the big things we had in mind with bringing him on was that he was going to get started on Chorus right away. That's his first big project. He designed the brand and put up the website, and then he'll be moving into designing the front end elements and working with Crossy. And
we deployed the website 30 minutes before the announcement, just right on time, right?
Pretty amazing.
And for Tellor, we're always, trying to improve it itself. I know we just put out 2.6 will be updated today, and I'm sure we'll be working on some things for 3.0 and maybe in the future, making sure that we move on to other chains, and whatever happens in Ethereum and wherever the users are going, that's where we're going to be trying to go.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be, a good mix of both. For Tellor itself, it's mostly Solidity work, and for that, Nick, JG, and me usually do Solidity work. So I think we'll be fine for now with our current workload. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And the focus, of course, is going to stay mainly on Tellor, but like you were saying, Brenda, we have people that can of course, could be a large portion of their focus
Mhm.
without taking anything away from the amount of work that we've been doing on Tellor. So,
And
and of
hopefully the Tellor Oracle doesn't need any more work. That means we've done the job properly, right?
hmm
Yeah.
yep. And then it's about it's about expanding the use case for Tellor and expanding business development, expanding verticals, and things like that. Um, and this would be a good problem to have. Of course, takes off, or if we do another vertical product, or we get a ton more users, or whatever it is, like then the team has to grow, and you would think that hopefully the value of our dev share rises with the demand, so that we have the funds to grow and expand the team, which has been the case so far, and we expect that to be the case in the future. What is the plan to attract users for Chorus? Um, we're going to be talking to people. We're going to be sharing it, and just like with Tellor, um, it's just about engaging with people and having those conversations.
Mhm.
I think with Chorus, we think that we need to start small. We're going to start with getting some notes used in our own community, and trying to do a couple um, pilots with another community. So we're looking for like a good maybe one, two, or three pilot communities that'll be like a great first test space for it. When we launch it, we have an initial partner, if you want to use that word, but some community that is willing to give it a try and learn from it.
And definitely the interface. I mean, we're gonna do anything that we can for the interface to be super easy for even non-technical people to be able to deploy this and use this. We'll also be doing some tutorials in the future, making sure that they understand the levers of the anthem. And yeah, that's how we plan getting users. So
How does the token economy look like for Chorus? Um,
um,
it's a user generated economy. It's a customized. So basically uh, just a quick overview. You would deposit your collateral. The community would be, whether it's an individual running the community or a DAO or whatever. They get to decide. There's these customizable variables that we talk about in the white paper, and we'll go into a much more of a deep dive next week about those customizable variables. But those sort of indicate this sort of token economy of the system:
mhm.
the collateralization ratio, the inflation rate, the amount that you're issuing, all of that. A lot of these are just ones that we've covered, like what is a semi-stable coin, what is Chorus, what are its use cases? We covered that. When new partnerships and Coinbase listing. Thank you. Hillary from Finland.
How does that work? Do we need to contact them or they contact us?
With the Coinbase listing?
Yeah, maybe
So
Hillary
in
can
any
lead us.
listing,
Hillary from Finland can
Hillary,
lead us.
yes, favorite. Um, so it's usually there's some representative from the exchange will reach out to you, uh, and they want to negotiate some sort of fee for getting listed. And then
Okay, so
there's
if anybody has
sort of this
contacts, we're
process.
waiting, right?
Hmm? You're really
So
quiet,
if
actually.
anybody has contacts, we're waiting.
With Coinbase? Uh,
Still in the community. If anybody has contacts, by all means,
yeah,
reach
yeah,
out
yeah.
to
No.
Coinbase. We're waiting on them. So
Yeah.
yes, reach out
Hey,
to
we have
Coinbase. Ask
contacts with
them when they're
everybody.
gonna have us there. Huh?
We have contacts with everybody. We have contacts with every exchange that you could possibly imagine, and you know we're in discussions with the ones that we need to be in discussions with, and uh, just like with the Binance listing, these things we can't really talk about ahead of time. They take a while. We don't pay for listing. We don't pay a listing fee because they're ridiculous, and we don't necessarily need it. We have plenty of liquidity. People aren't having any problem buying and selling it. And there's due diligence on the part of the part of the exchange that they have to go through their own legal process to make sure it works for them. And each project's a different scenario, and it takes some time. But stay tuned.
Yeah, and also there's nothing more powerful than demand. So if you guys are really interested in seeing TRB on Coinbase, there is nothing more powerful than demand. We do upgrades to Tellor because of demand, because of users, because of people that we're talking to in the background.
Yep.
So if you really want it there, please, by all means, ask for it.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
Yeah, tweet at them. I'm sure you guys are. Because I see it every once in a while, especially back in the day when we weren't listed on Binance. I always saw there was a few of you that were just constantly tweeting at CZ, win TRB. So, I don't want to say that was the reason why we got listed on Binance, but I'm sure it helps. And new partnerships, of course, we have. We think that we think that they're coming imminently, but we just. Again, we even tell the people that we're working with around these things that we don't want to make any announcements before we actually have working code. And it's just sort of a policy that we have. And it takes some time. I know we repeat ourselves all the time, but hang in there. When to upgrade 2.6 should be after this call, right?
Yes. After this call, I will run a function and we'll monitor it, and it should be all fine because we already tested it on Rinkoby. So, but I'm still gonna sit here and watch it switch. So, yeah. And we'll announce it. You guys are.
I always forget. Is it 1 week after the voting is started?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it started last Tuesday morning.
Yep. Okay, so last question was, does the V2.6 update make the mining more competitive as it's based on the 4th slot? And when will it be implemented? So today. And yes, this should help reduce the monopolization that is occurring, in short. So
More competitive, in other words, more fair, right?
Yes, more fair and open is, I think, what we said, and we think that it'll prove to be true. So, Vmail, who asked that question, go ahead, and if you're not already in the mining Discord or on our Discord, that's where most of the mining conversation is taking place. So we'd love to have you, and you can be there this week as you see how V2.6 how it goes when it's live. So that's it. That's all the questions. Thanks, everyone. Of course, we're going to be as active as always this week, answering more questions as people hear more about Chorus. So ask away, continue to read the white paper, wrap your head around it, get involved, and stay tuned for next week's deep dive.
Thank you for voting, everybody, and we'll
Yes.
see you next week.
See you next week.